AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Taylor Sharp. I promise you Taylor's here. It's just Muse screwing up 2 minutes into the show. Don't worry, Muse. Muse is here as if the silence didn't give it away. Mr. Toby Tomplay. Muse, you good? What happened over there?
I can't find the Taylor drop on my freaking button bar, and it should be there.
No worries. You just had 21 hours to figure it out.
It was there.
We're good. LSU wins a game. They'll play another one tonight. Oh, my God. Did you see the end of Kentucky Santa Clara? Terrio next hour. My goodness, do we have a lot to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay. My goodness, did the Tigers need that one in the worst way. Not just the win, but the outing they got from Casan Evans. So let's start there. The two most important things from LSU's win against Oklahoma Thursday, in order of importance. Number one is the win. And then number two is Casan Evans looking like a dominant Friday night ace. The win is super significant for all of the reasons that we've talked about here. You lost 2 out of 3 against Vanderbilt on the road. There's no crime in losing a road series in the SEC. It's hard to win in the league. It's harder to win on the road in the league. You were a pitch away from winning that series, but despite that, you still had a lot of flaws and things you had to work out. After these next 2 weeks, home against Oklahoma, home against Kentucky, you're on the road 3 of the next 4. So you really have to go into that stretch in 2 weeks starting at Tennessee with your head above water. Well, it means you got to win 2 series. This weekend, you have a big advantage in Game 3 with William Schmidt. You're certainly at a disadvantage on the mound here in Game 2, which meant you had to go win Game 1. And my goodness, did they. That was awesome. So winning the game was paramount. Number 2, of course, Casan Evans. Evans, 7 2/3, 1 unearned run on 3 hits, struck out 15, walked just 1. Jay Johnson, after the game, talked about why Evans was able to be so dominant in this game against the Sooners.
Felt like it was 0-2 to everybody, and did that a different way. And I don't know how you get on a guy like that when they're landing 4 pitches for strikes and coming at you. It reminded me of Rhett Lauder a lot. When we faced him in Omaha, it's like he was beating them in the strike zone, and there wasn't much they could do with it. And just credit to him.
7 2/3. Casan Evans faced 2 3-ball counts the entire game. Incredible. Absolutely incredible bounce back after a week ago when he walked 5. I don't need to go read receipts. Those of you who spent much of the last week telling me LSU needed to make a change in the rotation know who you are. You'll go quietly into your corner now, and you'll only pop up again when something goes wrong and tell me why they're not good at baseball or whatever you want to tell me. But for those of you who recognize baseball as a game where every team is going to lose, it's a marathon, it's an evolution, it's all the things we talk about, you'll be pleased with what you saw from Casan Evans. Now, I'm not suggesting that next week against Kentucky he's going to go 7 2/3 and strike out 15. I'm not suggesting you're going to see that again this year. That what you saw on Thursday night may end up being his best outing of the season. And if it is, okay. But what Casan Evans showed you is he's capable of taking the ball on a Friday, or in this case, a Thursday. Your front of the rotation guy against a top 10 team with a cumulative batting average of 306 and completely suffocating them for 7 2/3. And by the way, the only walk was the last hitter he faced, and it was on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that was a little up on his 110th pitch. Held his velocity, held his command. He struck out, by the way, the first 2 batters of the 8th. He went strikeout, walk on a 3-2 pitch, which ended his night. Evans was awesome. The other storyline in this game was Cam Johnson, and part of me feels badly for Cam Johnson because he's just such an elite talent. He was the highest rated prospect ever to sign with LSU. But what happened last night was really predictable. As a matter of fact, yesterday on the show, this is what we said sort of as a prediction for Cam Johnson. He was really good in the pre-conference this year, but when he had to toe the rubber in a conference game, he reverted to the guy who went 2 1/3 and walked 7. So I don't think it's going to go great for Cam Johnson. So really the onus, I think, is on LSU's hitters to be patient tonight and make him throw that ball over, make him prove he can throw the ball over the plate. And he did not prove he could throw the ball over the plate. Cam Johnson was awful. He needed 38 pitches to get through the first inning. As it was, he went just an inning and a third. He recorded only 4 outs. And one of those outs, by the way, was John Pearson swinging at ball 4 with the bases loaded in the first inning. If I have any complaint of the offense, it's the fact that despite the fact that Cam Johnson went only an inning and a third, walked 6 and hit a guy, you only got 1 across in the first. Now, you did get the crooked number in the second to go up 5-0, but you were up 4-0 before you recorded a base hit. This game should have been even more lopsided than it was. The one concern I have is that in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you had the leadoff runner in each of those innings, and you did not score. In the 3rd, you had a leadoff single. You sack-bunted Stanfield. You know, I hate sack bunting. In this instance, I hate giving up a run to advance a runner. To score a run, yes. In this instance, I was okay with it because Stanfield's basically playing with one hand. You're turning over the lineup with a runner on second and 1 out, saying hopefully Milam or Brown can get a single and get that run home. Didn't happen. In the 4th, leadoff single, you went fly out, strikeout, ground out, wasted another leadoff runner. And then in the 5th, you led off with a hit by pitch. You grounded into a double play, strikeout, 3 straight innings. You wasted the leadoff runner. And then lo and behold, in the top of the 6th is when they pushed across their first run to make it 5-1, which may not seem like a big deal, but any coach will tell you they manage differently when you get north of a 4-run advantage because one swing can't tie the game. At 5-1, one swing can tie the game, so they manage differently. So in any event, the good news for the Tigers is they came out in the 7th, Cerna and Pearson back-to-back doubles, and then you get the 2 RBI single to make it 7-1, and it was all over but the shout at that point. So Tigers had a heck of a night when they absolutely had to have it. The other big storyline was that they did, in fact, change the lineup as we suggested they might. Might have had an inkling they were going to do that, especially with Cerna. We talked about Cerna all week. And I think Jay Johnson's showing you what we talked about and what is very obvious to anybody with 2 eyes. Omar Cerna at 6'2", 245, who hits with power to all fields, has a much higher ceiling than the veteran transfers you have on this team. You got to find a way to get Cerna in the lineup every day. If Aaron Beatty's catching, cool. Cerna DHs or plays first. That's just how it's got to go. Cerna was in the lineup last night. He'll be in the lineup again tonight. He'll be in the lineup again tomorrow, I guarantee you. However they have to make it work. You can't justify, and I'm not picking on Dardar here, but you can't justify putting a guy in the lineup who's a defensive liability who's hitting 218. If he were hitting .318 with 6 homers, then I'll take the liability at second. But if he's not going to hit, then putting Pearson at third, moving Caraway over to second makes a lot, and DHing Cerna makes a lot more sense. And I suspect that's what you're going to continue to see. So, game 2 tonight, Tigers, Sooners. The advantage on the mound flips back to Oklahoma. LJ Mercurius will throw tonight. His brother Xander is the one who pitched in relief yesterday for 5 innings. Really good in relief. But LJ is the one who's going to start tonight. Sub-2 ERA, 41 strikeouts, 8 walks. He's a dude. He's better than Cooper Moore, period. There is no debate about that. Doesn't mean you can't win the game, but big advantage on the mound tonight for Oklahoma. But Tigers are at home. And as we've talked about, it is hard to win on the road in the SEC. Hopefully, night game, box, Friday night, packed crowd. Maybe LSU could push forward to get a series win and go for a sweep tomorrow. So Terry will be here next hour. We'll talk plenty of LSU baseball throughout the show today, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Show Open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. If you're going to be at the box tonight, make sure you go up to the concession stand, grab plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light. Tailgating before the game, make sure in your ice chest, out in the parking lot, you got plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light. And most importantly, when you go to your favorite retailer, make sure you grab the officially licensed LSU cans or aluminum bottles. Remember, they got the national championship aluminum bottles as well. 16-ounce aluminum bottles. 16-ounce aluminum bottles. And it's got the national championship logo. It's the ones we have on set here every single day. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll go around the SEC at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, kind of give you a wraparound of what's going on in the NCAA tournament today. The women start in less than 2 hours over at the Maravich Center against Jacksonville. And if you missed it, my goodness, a finish for the ages in Kentucky, Santa Clara. We'll knock it around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're thinking about selling your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Remember, when you call Darren James, he guarantees he's going to sell your home. People have asked me so many times over the years, hey, is that real what you talk about? Yes. It's absolutely legitimate. It's his guaranteed sale program. Get it, Darren? Call Darren. He'll sit down with you. He'll walk your home, do an assessment of the market, all the sort of trends and everything. You'll sit down. He'll agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it for free. So if you need to sell your home, you need the best, you need Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
There's a 51.5 point spread with LSU and Jacksonville, the Dolphins. That line has stayed pretty consistent throughout the week. Johnny Avello, the head of the DraftKings Sportsbook, was with us earlier in the week. Asked him about it. Said they're actually getting some action on it, but 51.5 is the number. LSU and Jacksonville, 5 o'clock Central over at the Maravich Center. So it's an hour and 42 minutes away from now. It's funny. I would say it's not funny, haha, but it actually is kind of funny, haha. Like the matchup predictor over at ESPN gives LSU a 99% chance of winning the game against Jack. A 51.5. Would that be a record? That would be a record.
LSU women's basketball was favored by 72.5 earlier this season in their field trip game.
I'm saying if they lose, that would be like a record upset.
Record ups. Okay, I thought you were talking about record spread.
No, not a record spread.
I was like, oh no, they were favored by 70 earlier this year.
LSU's played SWAC schools. Like I'm sure there's been big SWAC, MEAC schools. I'm sure that's no disrespect intended, but that's just the reality. You're just talking about dramatically. What was the field trip game? I don't even know.
I believe it was Murray State is who they played this year.
God bless. Was Matt McMahon coaching Murray State at the time? Well, no, I'm just asking. Legit. No. Oh, that was this year.
That was this year.
Might have helped. Who knows?
Could have helped. Here, I'll find the game for you.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you could please do, but the point being, like, you see enormous spreads in women's basketball because you have a very concise. It's honestly not that dissimilar. You got it?
Morgan State. It was Morgan State.
That's Murray's sister.
That's okay.
Murray's sister is Morgan.
Yeah.
But is Morgan? Check to see if Morgan State. I think that's a MEAC school. I'm thinking of Moorhead. Moorhead, I think, is MEAC out of Atlanta.
Morgan State University.
What league are they in?
I'm looking. Hold on. Baltimore, Maryland Conference. Where'd it go? Yeah, MEAC. MEAC.
All right. I feel justified. It's
a good call.
And I only wanted to say it because, like, there are people who are going to say, I'm just hating on SWAC MEAC. I'm not just hating on SWAC MEAC. It's just a dramatically different level of resource and investment. So you have things like this where you have enormous spreads. And in women's basketball, it's exacerbated. In women's basketball, you have, like, 5 schools that could actually win the national championship. Let me go 10. 10 that could actually win it. Probably not 10, but it's like it'll be UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, LSU. Anybody I'm forgetting in that mix that could actually win it?
Did you say UCLA?
I said UConn, LSU, UCLA, South Carolina were the 4 I mentioned.
That's fair.
If you give me those 4 or the field, I'm taking those 4. I'll give you really good odds on it as well.
So Harvard beat Stanford, number 1 seed Stanford in 1998. That's the largest NCAA tournament point spread up. Harvard was a 23.5-point underdog in that game.
And that was a 116 matchup.
Yeah.
25 years, almost 30 years ago. It's just a. We all get it. It's just a rarity in women's basketball. All that to say, like, LSU is going to beat the ever-living mess out of Jacksonville in this game. They'll play on Sunday in the round of 32 and move on to the Sweet 16, and hopefully Kim Mulkey's squad moves on. And I want them to keep playing for as long as possible because I'm really looking forward to the Tuesday interviews with Kim Mulkey on Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Coach Mulkey. Who's the other guy with Jacob Hester?
We practiced yesterday morning, and I do my weekly radio show with Hester, and we were just talking, and this lump came in my throat.
She forgot Matt. She forgot Matt Flynn.
She tried.
Oh.
The effort and the want to remember was there. She tried.
I think she wanted to say T-Bob.
You think so?
I think so. So for those that don't know, the morning show in the station is Hester and Matt Flynn. It used to be Hester and T-Bob. T-Bob's now Barstool. Matt Flynn replaced him. And so this is the first season that Coach Mulkey's done the interviews. But in fairness, it's been every week.
Yeah, it has.
Since Taylor, since November. When did you all start doing the weeklies with Kim?
Yeah, right beginning of basketball season.
I mean,
it's a lot of interviews, man.
And Matt's done a few solo because Jake's been out like during football season.
That's true.
Oh, all throughout. Well, because it's Tuesdays, right?
It's Wednesdays.
Did they move that? It used to be Tuesdays?
It used to be, yeah. When T-Bob was there, it was Tuesdays.
So all that to say, I don't really think that's – I don't even know that Hester was gone on Wednesdays. I mean, Hester, when he was traveling for the bowl games and all, I mean, typically that was weekends. So I guess you might maybe like some of those times with the CFP, there might have been like a
Super Bowl,
a Wednesday travel. Super Bowl for sure. Yeah. So Kim Mulkey was at our press conference. And she was talking about – so that clip has gone viral of her on Off the Bench getting choked up talking about Flaugier. And so then she was asked during her press conference before this game against Jacksonville, sort of like to recall that a little bit and talk about why she got emotional with Flaugier, talking about Flaugier. And so then she played again. This was the clip.
Weekly radio show with Hester, and we were just talking, and it just.
Oh, man. The great part about it, and Taylor, you can speak to it more. Taylor works on OTB. Like, Flynn, I was listening this morning when they were talking, and Flynn was like, he said when he heard it, he like laughed out, like spit his drink out of his mouth. He was laughing.
Got a random text in our group chat last night from Flynn, and then the comment, he said, LOL, ... She totally forgot my name.
Do you think he's up? You know Matt better than most. You work with him every day. Do you think Matt was actually upset by this or actually laughing at it?
I think a little bit of both. I think deep down that the QB egos hurt a little bit, but I mean, I think he enjoyed it.
The hard part is, man, Hester and Flynn got to realize, man, 1990 or 2007.
Ooh.
2007.
You almost went way back on him.
Well, 1997. Yeah, but 2007, the Natty. Next year's 20 years.
How about that, man?
I mean, all the kids at LSU, students at LSU, did not watch those guys play. I mean, they're old. Yeah. Ain't nobody know you. You know what I mean? I do. I'm old too. But them kids, and Kim Mulkey should know.
Kim Mulkey should know.
Weekly radio show with Hester, and we were just talking, and it.
Poor Flynn.
Poor Flynn.
Poor Flynn. Oh, man, that's so good. It is actually hilarious, though, man. Like, and Matt's got legitimately, Matt has a great sense of humor. I love working with Matt Flynn, and that's awesome. I don't think, but Taylor, when Kim's on this week, if y'all don't play that clip and ask her about it, you're all cowards.
I got to be honest. We brought it up this morning.
As the program director of this station, I may fire all of you if you don't
I get
ask
it.
her about it.
We brought it up this morning. They did not like that idea.
Of playing it?
Yeah, they were like,
what? You are all fired.
I'm all
you
for
are
it.
all fired.
I'm all for it.
It's going to be off the bench with Musso and Taylor.
Oh, Lord.
Starting on Monday, or I guess the following Monday.
I mean, and Kim's got a good sense of humor, too. Like, she'll have fun
she'd
with
love
that,
it.
man. She would love it.
Coach, got to ask you about something. Play the tape. Sounds like you forgot my name.
Weekly radio show with Hester, and we were just talking.
Hard swallow. So good. All right, we're running by Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Hey, every Friday, of course, during Lent, if you're abstaining from meat, you're looking for seafood options, Rouse's has great seafood options, of course. Boiled crawfish every single day at Rouse's. So 76 locations, Lake Charles to Orange Beach, points in between. Heading home, going to watch some NCAA tournament tonight on one screen, have LSU Oklahoma on another screen. How about you eat some boiled crawfish as well? Get them at Rouse's. Pop into any Rouse's location. They have in-house boiling rooms. So pick up your boiled crawfish from Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. Oh, by the way, and if you don't want crawfish, no worries. They got sushi rolled in-house daily. They've got the hot and boiled kiosk. So you want like boiled shrimp, if you want fried shrimp, or any other seafood option. They've got fried catfish. I mean, they got so many great options. Grab and go. It's there at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's. This feels like home. By the way, so if you missed it, quick catch up. Right now, Texas and Missouri State, that's on the women's side. Men, I'm looking on the TV here at Iowa State, Tennessee State. Let me get you a scoreboard here. Do you have our NCAA tournament music? Muse, can you just hit me some NCAA tournament music while I go through this? Because if you missed it, the absolute bonkers moment of the day is what happened with Santa Clara and Kentucky. So tied at 70 with 10 seconds to play. Santa Clara with the basketball. This is what happened.
Just Santa Clara. This is Gavin Lugol. Graves elevates. Buries it. 2.4 away.
Unbelievable. Alan Graves, by the way, if you're not familiar, so Marshall Graves, who played at LSU, his brother Alan Graves was the freshman of the year in the conference at Santa Clara. He's the one who hit the three-pointer for Santa Clara to give Santa Clara the 3-point lead, 73-70, and then Otega Owe on the inbound about 35-footer. Is that about right?
Fair, yeah, 35 feet.
Bang, ties it. Kentucky wins and covers in overtime.
Off the window, too, man, for him. Banks
Incredible.
were open.
Owe shot banked?
Yeah, it banked in.
Okay. The wide shot. I was looking at it on my phone. I couldn't see it bank. Anyway, either way, amazing finish right there. And I'm a little bummed for Santa Clara because their coach, whose name I don't know, forgive me, was running to the official. A lot of people saying, why didn't they foul? It's fair. They're up 3. But he's running to the official trying to call timeout. And the official did not grant the timeout. And it happened so quickly with less than a second. Owe let go of the ball and went in. And, of course, Santa Clara lost in overtime. So what a finish, though. I mean, back-to-back dramatic threes like that. What an incredible way to finish. So on the day so far, Arizona, no issue with Long Island. Virginia beats Wright State. Texas Tech beats Akron by 20, so all chalk today. Kentucky beats Santa Clara. They advance in dramatic fashion. Games in progress right now. Iowa State doubling up Tennessee State with about 15 minutes to go. Alabama holding on against Hofstra at halftime, 37-35. Utah State an early lead over Villanova, 18-13, and then still to come. Miami, Ohio against Tennessee. Iowa, Clemson in an 8-9 matchup. Northern Iowa against St. John's. That's the 12-5. UCLA against UCF. Queens against Purdue. Florida against Prairie View. Kansas against Cal Baptist. UConn Furman in a 2:15 matchup. And the last SEC team to play will be tonight where Missouri, the 10 seed, takes on Miami. That'll be at 9:10 Central on True TV. All right, it's after further review. We are glad you're aboard with us here. Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out a break, go around the SEC. Terrio in 30 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Hey, so many ways you can experience Watermark Baton Rouge, but let me make this suggestion. If you're someone who loves Sunday brunch, every Sunday they have brunch at the Gregory at Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge. You might think, Matt, that sounds great, but I don't want to go downtown. I don't like to park. Okay, great. Awesome. When you eat at the Gregory, it's complimentary valet parking. So you quite literally just pull up to the door at the Watermark, get out of your car, they'll go park it for you. You walk in, eat. When you're ready, they bring your car to the door. It's easy. The Gregory is awesome. Sunday brunch or any meal, any day, or any reason just to get downtown Baton Rouge and hang out at the Gregory, the lobby bar. Milford's on 3rd, a little more casual spot. Make sure you check it out. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
So President Trump did, in fact, issue an executive order on Friday. If you missed it, Ross Dellinger was here a day ago, and we're sort of expecting an executive order on the heels of the committee meeting at the White House a couple of Fridays ago with leaders around college football. Nick Saban was part of it, where they're sort of talking about the future of college football. There's a lot of debate as to whether or not an executive order will actually be enforceable, but it'll probably take a congressional action / court orders to have some type of actual meaningful enforceable legislation. But the president did issue an executive order, but it's not what any of us were thinking as we're all sort of thinking about the college football playoff. This executive order just protects Army-Navy. The executive order forbids, effectively, any college football playoff or other postseason game from airing during the Army-Navy matchup in December. So we know the first Saturday in December has been conference championship games. second Saturday in December has been Army-Navy and the Heisman presentation. So what this would do, because the thought is if we do see an expanded college football playoff from 12 teams to 16 or 24, it would take an extra weekend of games, meaning you would start to see those college football playoff games take place the week after conference championship games. So the weekend of Army-Navy, the day of Army-Navy. So effectively, they're saying you would have to make some type of concession. You either bump the playoffs back another week. I can't imagine they would play on Sunday head-to-head with the NFL. So as unfortunate as that is, that could alter the broadcast schedule for the college football playoff. One of the big complaints I know many of you have is that there's too much space between college football games in the playoff. Like, you don't need to give teams in the playoff 3 weeks off. You could start the playoff the week after. I would be for eradicating the conference championship games, which are meaningless. And which, by the way, conference championship games have never been actually of any value. They're nothing but a money grab. It's another TV window for the leagues to go sell and make money. For 75, 80 years, college football existed without conference championship games. You don't need a conference championship game. It is literally just another television product to go sell. So competitively, you don't need it. Get rid of the conference championship games, play your final weekend of the season, Thanksgiving, start the playoff the next week, the first week of December, and play straight through. With the executive order from President Trump, that would be disallowed. Most certainly, that would be challenged. And I'm actually not for this in any way. I'm much, much more in favor of starting the college football playoff the week after Thanksgiving, that first week in December, than I am protecting Army-Navy. Army-Navy's great. It should always be played. It has always been played, even during COVID and during World War II, when a lot of things in our country stopped, this game was played, and it should always be played. But to dedicate a standalone window for it, or a standalone day for it, is unnecessary. You can play Army-Navy in its own TV window, play Army-Navy in the 11 a.m. window, play college football games in the 2:30 and 7 o'clock window, or play a college football playoff game at 11 a.m., Army-Navy in the 2:30 window, and then a night slot for the college football playoff. Point is, there's ways to do it. You don't have to have the day entirely designated to that one game. It's just not actually going to be conducive for how an expanded college football playoff is going to operate. So respect to the Army-Navy game. I want it to be played. I'm okay with it being in its own designated TV window, but with an expanded playoff, you can't give Army-Navy its own day, because then you're delaying the entire schedule by a full week. And I don't think anybody wants to see that. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're aboard with us here. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. We're getting close to that time of season where I'm going to be able to tell you about the patronage refund and how that was able to go this year. So as a member-owned cooperative, part of the benefit of doing business with First South Farm Credit is they share in their profits with their member borrowers. So at First South Farm Credit, their patronage refund effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. So if you borrow at 5%, when you get your patronage refund, it effectively lowers it to like 4%. So just another reason to do business with First South Farm Credit, who've helped Louisianians buy land for more than 100 years, since 1916, 110 years. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Missouri Tigers.
Missouri's landed a commitment from in-state wide receiver Chris Harris Jr. He's out of Lee's Summit. He's a three-star, the number 27 athlete in the country, the fifth best player in the state of Missouri. He's staying home to play for the Tigers.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Paul Mainieri went into the week with a plan to pick a lineup and sort of stick with it. Well, after their loss to Charlotte on Tuesday, that plan may change. Mainieri did not promise the same lineup, so he was going to try to stick with it. but they might alter things. They play number 4 Arkansas this weekend. And remember, a week ago in conference play, the Gamecocks scored 1 run in 3 games against Florida. This is one of the worst teams in the SEC, not just this year, but quite possibly one of the worst teams we have ever seen in the SEC.
The Texas Longhorns.
And Arch Manning has signed a deal with Google Gemini, shared it on his Instagram. It's the latest high-profile NIL deal for Arch, who's preparing for his redshirt junior season at Texas in 2026. He's also got deals with Fiore, Red Bull, Warby Parker. He's got a $5.4 million NIL valuation, so it pays to be Arch Manning, who is continuing to do deals now with Google Gemini. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC Friday shows brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Weekend is here. The madness is upon us. Awesome time to get by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Of course, Don Juan Cigar Bar, where you can have premium cocktails, an amazing cigar, TVs everywhere, watch the NCAA tournament, comfortable leather chairs. It's where we did AFR every Friday during football season this past year, where T-Bob and I did Whiskey and Wine for a half decade. And then right next door is Don Juan Cigar Company, the retail shop with the largest walk-in humidor in the state of Louisiana. Best selection, best prices, best people. It's Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Don Juan Cigar Bar. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. Saints have signed a defensive end. We'll talk about that when we come back. Terrio's here 17 minutes from right now. Ryan's letter, Kick Rocks, Ask Ryan, all that good stuff. And we'll certainly get Terrio's thoughts on Casan Evans' performance in Game 1 of the weekend series, how they sort of project the remainder of the weekend. Ton of baseball talk with Terrio here as we move through the right radio hours on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After further review.
It's interesting how everybody now is talking about peptides. You can listen to this station. I mean, it seems like every other commercial is an ad with some clinic talking about peptides. I'd like to remind you that for well over a year, I've been telling you about peptides, and I'm living, walking proof of the value and benefit that peptides can have on your life. Now, understand what a peptide is. I'm going to give you a way, way, way abbreviated, scaled-down version. I always encourage you to do your own research or ask and get informed on these things. But these are strands of amino acids, okay? They help your body maximize your own natural function. This is not pharmaceutical drugs, okay? So NAD+, something I take. Cellular optimization, energy levels, incredible. BPC 157, I take that. It helps with muscle repair, tissue repair, recovery from surgery, injury. It's been incredible for my back. So many different ways peptides can help, and Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has them.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
New Orleans Saints have agreed to a deal to bring defensive end Chris Rumph back. Of course, Rumph, former Tennessee Vol. He signed a 1-year deal. This is a depth piece for the New Orleans Saints, and I'm good with it. I think when you consider Rumph's background, played in 17 games for the Saints a year ago, sort of as a rotational piece, played some special teams. But remember, this is a guy who played with the Chargers under Brandon Staley. So when the Saints brought Rumph in a year ago, they were bringing in a guy that was a depth rotational piece who the new defensive coordinator liked. So you bring him in, he stays healthy, plays all 17 games, good rotational piece, played some special teams, love it, 1-year deal. I'm totally good with that. He a year ago, he had career highs in tackles, 35. 3 TFLs was a career high. 19 special teams tackles as well. That was a career high. So Rumph played his role a season ago with LSU very well. With LSU. Rumph played his role a season ago with the Saints. I'm looking at LSU on TV. Played it well. They're bringing it back on a 1-year deal. Awesome. There is this question at defensive end, though, because they're certainly not done there. When you've got You've got your starters back with Chase Young and Carl Granderson. The giant question is Cameron Jordan and what's going to happen there, who still remains unsigned. And it's pretty obvious, as he said earlier this week, the Saints have to make sense. The Saints are not going to offer a multi-year deal to Cameron Jordan with a bunch of guarantees, nor should they. And seemingly at this point, no one else is either. So Rumph is a depth piece, but you still have to fill that gap. Is it going to be Jordan on a one-year deal, which would be great to see? Even if that is the case, New Orleans very likely is going to add someone via the draft or another free agent to fill that role from Cameron Jordan. So something worth watching. We've also learned that Saints have had an interview with another defensive back. I want to talk about that in just a second. Quick reminder about Parrish Restoration. ParrishRestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. If you have mold in your home, think you might, Parrish Restoration can knock it out. Some of the testimonials are amazing. Like, Parrish can't make any claims, but you listen to their clients who have given these testimonials, people who had health issues as a result of toxic mold in their home were forced out. Parrish comes in, sprays their patented non-toxic dry fog. They get rid of the mold issue, and people are able to move back into their home and be healthy again. If you're dealing with, I think you might have toxic mold, call Parrish Restoration. They'll come. They give you that free inspection, let you know what it'll cost to knock out that mold problem in your home. Go to ParrishRestoration.com, ParrishRestoration.com. That's ParrishRestoration.com. Interesting that we've learned the Saints have had another virtual interview with a defensive back ahead of the 2026 draft, and it's Texas cornerback Malik Muhammad. So Muhammad is a projected day 2 pick, so round 2 or 3, and the Saints have a couple of picks on day 2. And that position for New Orleans has seen a bunch of turnover in the last 2 seasons. Certainly, we saw Paulson Adebo sign as a free agent with the Giants before last season, last free agent cycle. The Saints traded Marshawn Lattimore at the trade deadline last year. And then this offseason, just in the last month, Alontae Taylor has signed a free agent deal with the Tennessee Titans. So that cornerback room in the last 18 months has seen a dramatic overhaul. And we focused a tremendous amount in our pre-draft conversation about what the Saints might do at 8 if Mansour Delane would be a fit. And I would be absolutely over the moon if the Saints took Mansour Delane at 8. Not because I'm pushing for the LSU guy, but because if you're picking top 10, I'm looking at positional value. The thing that all the years we did those interviews with Mike Detillier leading up to the draft, one of the things that Mike just hammered into our head, I mean, Mike's a draft analyst for 30 years, maybe even longer than that, but the thing Mike hammered into our head is that, look, there's 32 first-round draft picks, but in a given year, there may not be 32 players with a first-round grade. Does that make sense? Like, the Saints could go through their entire pre-draft process and assign a round grade to every prospect. And maybe that, let's say they have 18 guys in this draft that have a first-round grade. Okay, well, if you're picking 27th and one of the guys you had that had a first-round grade is on the board, and you're taking someone who you had as a top 18 prospect at 27, you're getting what you feel is great value, even if it's not necessarily positional value or a need. This is what happened with Ryan Ramczyk. It's the example I give you all the time because it's the best example that illustrates this. Remember, the Saints traded Brandon Cooks to New England. They got New England's first-round pick. That was the year New England won the Super Bowl. It ended up being the 32nd pick in the draft. Well, the Saints graded Ryan Ramczyk as the best right tackle in that draft. So they're sitting there at 32. Even though Zach Strief was their incumbent starter at right tackle, they thought this guy had a first-round grade and was the best right tackle in the draft, and he was sitting there at 32, so they took him. And he ended up being the best right tackle in football. You can do that at 32. At 8, you're going positional value that you don't think you can get outside of that number. Now, that may not be a cornerback, which means when you're picking in round 2, if it's not a corner, you might be looking for a corner to replace Alontae Taylor. that's where someone like Malik Muhammad from Texas may very well come in. So this is Muhammad is a guy who played a lot of football at Texas. 30 tackles, a couple of interceptions this past year. Just 21 receptions on 35 targets. Only 1 touchdown allowed the entire season. So you're talking about a guy with elite athleticism when you talk about the relative athletic score, which the Saints value a ton. And he played under Saints pass game coordinator Terry Joseph in 2023 and 2024. So familiarity with the staff, relative athletic score, played a ton of football. Keep an eye on Malik Muhammad as a potential target for New Orleans outside of round 1 if they don't go cornerback at 8. All right, Terrio's here after SportsCenter.
After further review.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. They do shutters too. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. It is 79 degrees in Baton Rouge right now. And you know triple-digit temps are right around the bend. And this always happens. Like if you're a homeowner, you know this to be true. When the summer comes, your energy bills go up. Why? Because your AC is running around the clock. When it's mild and the temperatures are nice, you don't have to run your HVAC unit quite as much. Well, when it's 105 degrees outside, your AC is running around the clock. So your energy bills go up. Well, how do you combat that? Make your home more energy efficient. One way you can do that is energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Not only will it lower the temperature in your home, because they're custom made for your home, it reduces those costly air leaks, keeping the cool air in. Learn more at reliefwindows.com. Reliefwindows.com.